quick stretch feed, and in comes Nichols on a breakaway. Audrey Nichols in on Carroll, scores! Chapelski shorthanded, right in on goal, to the net, scores! Shorthanded goal for Haley Chapelski. Hello and welcome inside the West Edmonton Mall Ice Palace here in Edmonton, Alberta, as we are set for more Day 1 action from the 2025 War for the Roses on hnlive.ca. My name is Zach Marks, pleased to be alongside you here on day number 1 as two teams playing their second game of the day. The Alberta Warriors coming off of a 2-1 win over the Connecticut Junior Rangers, taking on Team Minnesota, who's coming off a 2-1 loss to the BC Junior Lady Canucks. Should be a good one here as two sides looking for, well, one's looking for a continuation of the first game. The Alberta Warriors scoring with just 46 seconds left in their opening game of the tournament, as that gave them the late lead and the eventual win. As meanwhile for Minnesota, they were able to score just the one goal in the opening game, falling to the Junior Lady Canucks in that one. As see what type of energy reserves these two teams have after playing earlier today. Always something to keep an eye on in tournaments like this. As both teams ready to get underway here. The broadcast team also ready to go as Minnesota played BC at noon. The Alberta Warriors followed up at about 1:30, give or take, as we are set to go here in this one. As Alberta finishing off their team meeting at their net with Taya Tomlinson, who will get her first start of this tournament here today. Down the other end, it's Kayla Eaton, who makes her second appearance of the day, as Minnesota carrying just the lone goaltender here this week. As we are underway here at the Ice Palace. Minnesota looking to get on the forecheck in the early going here. Puck bouncing around, found quickly towards the goal. Good save early on there for Tomlinson, who, for those of you who tuned into our Brick broadcasts over the course of last week, you may recognize the last name of Tomlinson as one of the Team Minnesota netminders was the cousin of this Taya Tomlinson in between the pipes here today. So a family connection between the Brick and the War for the Roses here on day number 1, as we are quickly underway with the forecheck for Alberta. About a minute into this one. A 7-0 win for Manitoba earlier on in the last game, setting the tone for this one. Puck pulled free. Bowers trying to find it, couldn't. And now it will be banked ahead. Into the neutral zone. And now gathered up by Minnesota, sent in by Donahue. Over to get it is Sola Jim. Out to center. Alberta going to get a line change as Minnesota will start once more. Here comes Sydney Christian. Her pass a little too hot to handle for Nolander. And now the other way come Alberta. That looks to be Riel Lacina, who had it knocked away from her. Now Stachniak's got it. Aylin Stachniak feeds it ahead for McCulloch. Pardon me, McCulloch. Down low, Eaton wanted a penalty, none coming. Stopped 19 of 21 shots she faced earlier today. And here, this one squeezes through. Stachniak's got her first of the tournament, and Alberta's got a 1-0 lead. Nice feed across, and Stachniak makes no mistake, firing it 5-hole on Eaton as the second shot finds its way through. Just 2 minutes and 12 seconds into this one. Can't draw up a better start than that. See who gets assists. But that line's going to stay out there as we are back underway. And Donahue with possession. Played ahead. That one knocked down by Stevens. Now taken by Stachniak. Swung around the wall. And over it, Stasiuk going after it. And a knockdown. That was Brinley Bundy down low. Stealing it. Minnesota trying to find Bundy. Unable to do so. As Zoe Neurer, the only goal scorer so far, is here. She snipes one, but fought off by the stick of Tomlinson. As Neurer's got it again. As mentioned, the only goal of the tournament so far for Team Minnesota in that 2-1 loss to BC. Here it's flipped out to setter. Zins, got a stick on that, leaves it for Christian. Sydney Christian in over the line, trying to drive wide. Dumont forced her, and now put out in front. That one will ricochet off Pickard and will find its way to the far wall. Taken over by Prosser. Prosser spins, leaves it down low, and now played back around. Prosser. Dumont trying to get it ahead. That one didn't connect. And now that is McDonough, I do believe. And now Minnesota doing a good job of responding after the opening goal. Hardwick lets a shot go. That one will go wide. She was checked at the line. Elle Hardwick playing on the back end. Saw two right shots playing together in the earlier game. Here we see two left shots and an eye roll from Christian. She realizes that she really should have kept that one in. Frustrated with herself there as Hardwick back defensively. Nice pass ahead, and now an opportunity for Addison Preston. She's in. Her shot off the stick of Can and wide of the net. And a little frustration there from Preston early on. Little shove to the back of Leah Can. Donahue tied up down low. Solid check there. Arm's going to stay down as that was Isla Ford applying pressure. Now here comes Declan Bowers. Had an assist this morning. Lets a shot go. That one will bounce wide of the net. Ford battling for it. Trying to center, knocked away. Bowers and Ford both in there together. On the near side wall. It's pulled free. Out to center. Piercy will turn that around, and now Soloway going after it. First to it, though, for Minnesota was Bundy. And it'll be played around the wall, kept in at the line. Nice work there from Kruger. As Alberta controlling here, sending it down low. Push to the line, Soloway there covering. Tried to chop it towards the net, that got blocked, and now she's got to make a play as a diving Donahue couldn't get a stick on that. In fact, she lost her stick. She'll recover that as Bundy's got it down low. Assist to Lacina and McCulloch on the goal by Aylin Stachniak. That's got Alberta up by 1 in the early going of this one. Araman towards the goal. That one blocked. Nolander got a piece of the pass ahead, and now we'll bring it in. Driving wide. As trying to pull that puck free. Eventually doing so is Preston. Made a nice move around one defender, but recovering for Alberta was Audrey Piercy, who's got it once more. She's battles with Preston. Good stick from 50 in black. And now she'll push that to the line. Couldn't quite catch up to it to get it all the way out as Zins raced over to keep it in. Out there now with Christian, who forgive me if I'm wrong, we're about 6 minutes into this game. I'm not sure I've seen Sydney Christian leave the ice. He's not been afraid to play early on here. We don't track minutes at the War for the Roses, but I'd be curious to see what hers were this morning and what they are thus far. As Preston takes a shot, rings the goal post. Now Christian with one, and that one will go off a body, off the stick of Tomlinson and wide of the net. Taya Tomlinson getting a little lucky there with the goal post as Alberta ices the puck. As we get a whistle, 8:34 to go here in the first. Face off to the left of Tomlinson. And that'll be one back to the blue line. Fired across. Hardwick with possession. Knocked away from her as the goal scorer trying to find it. Stachniak tripped up. No call, though, is bouncing back to her feet is Neurer. Fired across. Bundy going to get there for Minnesota. Chops it out to center. It's sent back in. Lucina's got to get on side. And that will allow Prosser to work it back out to center before Alberta flips it back into the Minnesota end. Minnesota, one of 3 teams from the state in this tournament. We've got the Minnesota Machine, the State of Hockey, and this Team Minnesota. Nice move there from McDonough, trying to navigate her way through, and you'll notice that Team Minnesota and the State of Hockey wearing the same jerseys as that. They don't match up in the round robin. That's likely by design, but certainly curious to see what might happen if those two teams match up in the postseason. A jersey clash of all jersey clashes, so to speak, as Hardwick got the pass and fired it wide. Good pressure from Isla Ford to knock it away as around the net, Taylor Dumont takes over, feeds it ahead. Nice pass tape to tape for Jordan Dumont, who will send that one in. After it quickly goes Pickard. Emma Pickard had a goal this morning. In fact, had the goal, the winner for Alberta. Kylan Soloway also had a goal and an assist in this morning, or in this afternoon's game, I guess. We're kind of into the evening. Of course, in the summer, when the sun doesn't go down until 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, it's hard to keep your time straight. Minnesota on a steal, backdoor feed. Oh, how did that stay out? Not sure if Tomlinson got a piece, or maybe it was just a stick in front of the net, but either way, it's out of play, and it stayed out of the Alberta cage. It stays 1-0. Shots 2-1 in the early going of this one for Alberta. A far cry from what we saw in Manitoba versus Pennsylvania, as that one got out of hand quickly. Shots ended up 35-4 in favor of Manitoba in what was a 7-0 win for the junior ice to start off their tournament. Both those teams don't see action again until tomorrow, whereas Alberta will have 75% of their round robin schedule done by tomorrow morning. Pass out in front. Oh, great chance for Stevens, but she couldn't get enough of her stick on it, and it stays 1-0. Now played ahead. Soloway got a stick on that. Icing waved off. Soloway will get to it. Saucer pass in front. Oh, what a save made by Eaton, robbing Kyra Araman of what looked like a sure goal. My goodness. Great pass in front by Soloway, who was looking for her third point in the opening couple of games, but the defender Arman, who had jumped up into the rush, could not get it past the Minnesota netminder. Her second game of the day, as mentioned, just those 2 goals by her. So a 2 goals against average thus far with a .900 save percentage. But not much more you can ask from a goaltender. 2 goals against. Not a bad number at all, as that one will go the distance for an icing call. Meanwhile, down the other end, as mentioned, Tomlinson getting her first start of the tournament. It was Bianca Tofen this afternoon, a 1 goals against with a .94 save percentage. And she stopped all but one shot she faced in the 2-1 win over Connecticut as those two teams faced off. It was a rematch of the championship from 2023's tournament, as we've got a hand pass, I believe, is going to be whistled here. Face-off will be at the Alberta blue line here. Face-off one straight back to Christian, as Sydney Christian will look to find an option, gets it ahead for McDonough, who will send that one in. Kruger back to retrieve for Alberta. Slams on the brakes and takes possession for the Warriors. Stasiak trying to get it ahead, unable to do so. Now Kruger battling for it down low. Tied up with McDonough as McCulloch gets that one out to center. Zins will take over. Over to Christian. Sydney Christian. Watched closely by Aylin Stasiak, who's got the only goal in this game. Has a great pass ahead, finds Zoe Neuer. She's in 2-on-1. Now more of a 2-on-3. Neuer towards the middle, had it knocked away from her. Prosser will get it back to the blue line. Off the bench. Shooting, good save from Tomlinson as Bundy let that one fly. Losing her footing there was Neuer, as that will allow Alberta to take over possession. It'll be flipped ahead. Neuer blocked one pass, but couldn't block the second. But McCulloch lost it in her skates, and that will allow Minnesota to head the other way. Nice move from McDonough, cutting to the middle. Feeds it ahead, that one through the skates of Neuer, and now Lucina will play it around. Isla Ford with it. Slams on the brakes right in front behind her net, and will play it ahead for Dumont. Couldn't get it out. Hardwick able to hold that in. Lucina will get to it, swings it around, and now that one kept in by Minnesota. They've had more zone time here, but unable to get one past Tomlinson as it's put out in front. Great tie up there from Ford. Took the stick out of the equation for Donahue, who's now got Ford's stick out of the equation. As those two exchange words. Dumont gets it ahead. Here's Pickard. Pickard trying to drive the net. Got it on goal, but Eaton equal to the task as that one kind of rolled on goal more than was shot for a whistle. 3:46 to go here in the opening period. Still 1-0 Warriors. Alberta's got the State of Hockey tomorrow morning. Minnesota, meanwhile, their next game taking on the Eastern Canada Rattlesnakes. That game will also be tomorrow. As now a backhand off the face-off is going to go right out of play. Soloway flip that one up and out. Face-off stays inside the zone. Face-off one to the wall, and now played to the line. Dumont able to hold that in. Kicks off a leg and down into the corner. Bowers is going to get there first. Declan Bowers to the line, kept in by Can. And now it'll be played around to the near side wall, taken by Sydney Christian once more. Nice pass up ahead, and that was taken away from Volkers. Now Can with it. Off the wall, Minnesota trying to drive the net. Good tie up there from Alberta. Now Piercy able to get that out to center. Chops it ahead, and that will be taken over by Christian in her own zone. Tied up down low by Soloway, who's been effective early on in this one. Bowers tied up by a retreating Minnesota defender, that being Nyberg. And now Alberta trying to go to work. Centering pass blocked by Eaton, and now Minnesota will play it up the near wall. Here comes Neuer. Nice pass ahead. Bad change from Alberta. It's a breakaway for Minnesota. Tried to go to the backhand. Stopped by Tomlinson. And she holds on as Volkers was in alone, but couldn't beat Tomlinson. Grade A chance there for Evelyn Volkers, but tried one move too many, and it ended up being a relatively tame initial stop for Tomlinson. Then you sort of got a little bit of chaos as Neuer came in late trying to find a rebound, but it stays 1-0 Alberta. Zins off the draw, lets a shot go. That's blocked by McCulloch, and the other way go the Warriors, but Bundy going to get there first as she looks to start the rush. Pressure applied by Alberta. Stachniak had it, lost it, and now puck flipped out to center by Minnesota. Stasiak gets it ahead for Stachniak. Stachniak into the zone. Looks, shoots, and that one over top of the goal. McCulloch trying to direct it in front. That was knocked away. And now to be played up the far wall. Lucina able to hold that in. Down low, out of the reach of McCulloch, but now racing onto it is Jules Forster. Played up the wall, and that one will be backhand flipped by McCulloch down low. Taken over by Minnesota. Chopped ahead. Kruger's got to go to the bench. There were too many on the ice there. If she'd touched it, it would have been a power play for Minnesota as Armin gets that one ahead. Forster makes a move around one and now feeds it ahead for Dumont. Knocked away from her, and now Preston will chip it back in for Minnesota. 4 shots apiece here in the opening period. Alberta with that 1-0 lead, courtesy of Aylin Stachniak. Christian will take over in the neutral zone for Minnesota. Gets it ahead for Palmer Prosser. Dropped away from her. Here's Preston, a shot. Stopped by Tomlinson. Poked away from her. Rebound. And that one kept out as well as Tomlinson splayed out but kept it from crossing the goal line. There's a little frustration there for Minnesota. Unable to get it to go, and now we got a penalty here. In fact, we got coincidental roughing, I believe, will be the call against Addison Preston and Kyra Araman. Some good looks from Minnesota. 6 shots here in the period, but as we approach the final minute of play, unable to get anything past Taya Tomlinson. Hard around the wall. Minnesota has got possession in the far corner. Centering pass to her. Nice move, but lost it in her skates. Taken over by Taylor Dumont. Nice move from Declan Bowers, spinning around her check. The pass ahead, though, too far in front of Soloway. Icing waved off, however. Play going to carry on inside the Minnesota zone. Playing 5-on-5 here. As now down low, Minnesota find it. Cross-checking against Araman. As it's down low, Jim going to get there first. Roughing was the call against Team Minnesota's Addison Preston. So roughing and cross-checking, the 2 calls there that keep this on in the late stages. And a bit of a miscue here on the clock. He's going to run it down an extra couple of seconds, but we'll leave 3 and a bit on that clock. As they'll drop the puck here. Puck is down, Minnesota controls, and that will just about do it for the opening period of play. A 1-0 Alberta lead through 15 minutes of action. As Stachniak's got the only marker here in this one. We'll be back in about 45 seconds for second period action from the 2025 War for the Roses on hnlive.ca. The Alberta Warriors looking to make it 2 wins for 2 on day 1 of the 2025 War for the Roses as they sit with a 1-0 lead through 15 minutes of action. Aylin Stachniak, the lone goal scorer in that opening period. As we get set for period number 2. Zach Marks alongside you here on hnlive.ca. Appreciate you tuning in, joining us for more excellent hockey action from the West Edmonton Mall Ice Palace here in Edmonton, Alberta. Day 1 of 6 here with the War for the Roses. We'll go all the way to Saturday for the championship game. As plenty to do before we even start thinking about that one, however, as Isla Ford's got it. Center's in front, and Eaton's going to cover that one up almost immediately, taking no chances with that. As her team scoring just 1 goal in front of her in that opening one. Face off, one back, and now swinging it around. Minnesota going to get there. Oh, and that's going to be a penalty. Soloway with a little too much physicality there is going to go off for what I believe will be a body contact penalty. And yes, indeed, it will be. So to the power play for the first time in this one for Team Minnesota. Power play went 0 for 3 in this morning's game for Minnesota. Meanwhile, Alberta, they were penalized 4 separate times, killed off all 4 in their 2-1 win over Connecticut. As the face-off will be to the right of Tomlinson. 6 saves so far for 35 in black. She's been good in the early going of this one as it's swung around to the near side wall. Christian knocked away from her. Now she gets it back, flips it down low. Around the net, fired back to the line. Neuer will go down into the corner as Tomlinson involved in a bit of a shoving match there with the Minnesota player, that being Emmy Donahue. So that one will go right on to Eaton, and she's going to be forced to cover up amidst the check from the Alberta skater. As ref, not sure what the discussion is there with Kayla Eaton, but we will see later on. Not sure if that was, well, when it's dumped from that deep, don't cover it up, or if it was a case of something else. I'm not sure what choice she really had. There was an Alberta skater pretty much on top of her when she covered it, as Pickard did well to apply the pressure. Carrying in, that's offside at the line as Dumont was slightly ahead of the play. Out of the box comes the coincidental penalties from earlier as Arman and Preston out of the box. Preston will replace Zins on the power play and will take the face-off against the Alberta goal scorer, Stachniak. Off the face-off, Minnesota with possession. Got it past Preston, but not Bundy as she works right into the slot. Had it roll off her stick before she could get a shot away. Now back to the line. Neuer able to hold that in. And now Volker's in the corner. Had a grade A chance in the first. Couldn't capitalize. As that one kept out by Tomlinson. The rebound. Somehow it puck stayed out. And it ends up in the corner. Volker's going to go back. Neuer thinks about shooting. Does. And scores! It got through Tomlinson. And Zoe Neuer's got her second in as many games. And has tied this matchup up at 1 apiece. Power play goal comes 90 seconds into the period. As somehow that one got through Tomlinson's arm and body. And she couldn't quite squeeze it. And we've got ourselves a tied hockey game. Soloway out of the box and right out onto the ice. See if she can get her team back in front after taking the penalty that led to the tying goal. Preston will send that in deep as Minnesota is going to look to build off their first goal of the game, their second of the tournament, both coming off the stick of number 8. As that puck chipped out to center by Alberta. Played ahead. Bundy and Preston pick up the apples on Neuer's second of the tournament. As Minnesota growing into this game a little bit, especially now that they've got the goal, a little bit more confidence from this group. Can going to try and push it out to center. Did just that as Bowers is now tied up right in front of the penalty boxes. Carrying on is Piercy. Around the wall, Zins is going to find it. And now, played ahead. Piercy able to hold that in once more. Something to keep an eye on is, of course, the difference in roster size. Alberta carrying a much larger roster than Minnesota is, as Nyberg with plenty of speed, but Neurer, I believe, was ahead of the play, which will negate that chance. Both teams playing their second game of the day. And it's not like both teams played the morning games today. They were early afternoon, and now about 6 hours after Alberta started their game, or rather after Minnesota started their game, they're right back out there. So, and it's an even quieter, or an even quicker turnaround time for Alberta. So we'll see how the fatigue levels are by the end of this one. But in the meantime, a 1-1 game, 3 minutes gone in period number 2. Puck taken by Preston. Preston down low for Donahue. Donahue trying to backhand it in front. Did, but Alberta with a good check that play there. Great work from Hardwick to hold it in at the line, though. Hardwick towards the net. Glove save Tomlinson, who holds on for the whistle. Minnesota with all sorts of pressure here in the early goings of this second period. They've tied the game on a power play goal from Zoe Neurer. And now they look for the lead. Nyberg off the draw will fire that one into the corner, and there's the goal score. Tie watched by Kruger and Ehrman. Nice move from Neurer, trying to center it for Stevens, knocked away from her. Stevens, the only other member of Minnesota to pick up a point in this morning's, or their earlier loss to BC, had the lone assist on Neurer's goal. Here it's Volkers trying to navigate through a pair of Alberta checks. Forster eventually forces her to knock it around, and now Dumont's got it. Trying to fire it up the wall, unable to do so. Puck pulled free, Stevens in the slot, a shot. Ooh, that one off the mask of Tomlinson and up and out of play for a whistle. Good save there from Tomlinson. And now Preston will take this face-off for Minnesota against Audrey Piercy, who will hope to alleviate a little bit of this pressure that her team is under. Face-off one back to the line, though, by Minnesota. They're doing a great job of keeping possession. Here's Preston out of the corner, a shot. And that one wide of the target. Kind of went through the crease, but never troubled the goaltender. Here's Prosser, a backhand, stopped by Tomlinson. And now that'll be banked up ahead and out to center. Banked ahead, and now Prosser tied up. Good stick there by Bowers as Dumont takes over. Navigating, turned it over. Recovering there was Piercy, and now a steal. Trying to put it towards the net was, believe that, yeah, that was Zoe Neurer again. McDonough out in front, a shot, and that one catches post and ended up in the second deck of the West Edmonton Mall. I've called a lot of hockey here. I don't think I've ever seen a puck end up in the second deck. Off the crossbar, up and out of play. My goodness. We get back underway with a fresh puck. I believe it's just been dropped down to a couple of Minnesota fans as they got the ref getting a new puck from the scorer's table, so that one now goes down as a souvenir for one of the Minnesota fans. Hardwick able to hold that in, but McCulloch lost it. Good work from Minnesota on the forecheck, but the pass in front finds only the stick of an Alberta Warrior, and now away comes Stasiak. Stasiak, long shot, glove save Eaton, and she will hold on, but that will alleviate a little bit of pressure and maybe give Alberta a chance to get some ozone time here in this second period. Face off to the right of Eaton. One back by Minnesota. They've had a very strong advantage in the face-off dot, and it's led to situations like this. Could be a 2-on-1, but a good recovery from Sola Jim, who's got an assist in the tournament thus far. But there, the defensive play far more important than any points, preventing what could have been an odd player rush there. Armin played just enough of the body to avoid the penalty and take possession of the puck. Looked like she put her team up 2-0 in that first period, but Eaton made an unbelievable save to keep it a 1-0 game, and now here we are. Zoe Neuer trying to break in. She got slashed, and play is going to carry on, and away come Alberta. Jim, though, couldn't quite carry that in, delayed offside, and there's the whistle as Neuer doing that, the handshake a la the NHL games. That animation that likely frustrates a lot of those players. But no call on that one. As we get back underway with a face-off at the Minnesota blue line, and it's Sydney Christian who takes possession, leads into the zone with a 3-on-2. Christian on net. Oh, that one got past Tomlinson but didn't find the back of the net, and Tomlinson getting a little aggressive there with the Minnesota skaters in front. Almost Ron Hextall-esque. A little bit of physicality, a little bit of stick work. Great play from Preston to chip past Kruger. 2-on-1. Preston, good recovery from Ford. And then that puck trickled through Tomlinson and ended up in the corner. But Isla Ford with a good stick to prevent that chance. Now it's flipped across. Stevens will get there. Pushed out. Did that come out? No. As play will carry on. Prosser's going to find it. Pardon me, this is Kruger. Kruger got it ahead. Forster tipped it in. But now turning it around is Minnesota, and that pass was behind Zins, or else she's in alone. And instead, it's a cover-up by Tomlinson for an ozone draw for Minnesota. Face off to the right of the goaltender. And off the draw, it's controlled by Alberta. One of the few face-offs they've won in their own zone. Minnesota's done a really good job of getting possession off of face-offs. As that puck bouncing around, settled down, taken by Prosser. Trying to send it in front for Zins, but it ended up behind the net. And 68 White's got it now. Fired across for Prosser out of her reach. And the Warriors will bank it out to center. Now down low, Lacina's going after it. Zins trying to force a turnover, nearly did. As that puck rolled out in front. Now Minnesota's got it, it's Prosser. She'll flip it to the line. And now Hardwick kept it in momentarily. Now a stretch feed for Soloway, but that one got past everybody and will be an icing call with 7:08 to go in the second period. Close there for both sides with some breakaway passes, but none of them connecting thus far. As now we're going to have a chat here between the two officials, and do we have a timeout? And Alberta's going to call their timeout, I believe. Interesting decision here from the Warriors, trying to get some fresh legs and maybe a reset here, as it's been a tough start to the second period here in this one. Gives me a chance to preview the upcoming matchup, as we've got the Connecticut Junior Rangers playing in their their second game of the tournament, having dropped their opener 2-1 to the Alberta Warriors, taking on the State of Hockey, who defeated Team Saskatchewan by a 4-1 score. That Saskatchewan team will be back in action in the final game of day number 1, taking on the Eastern Canada Rattlesnakes in their first game of the tournament. Timeout comes to an end, 1-1, 7:08 to go in period number 2. As Tomlinson returns to her crease. Off the face-off, Minnesota controls. right into the middle. Nolander, a shot that was blocked. And now Alberta looking to get out to center. They do get out to center, but turned around there and an offside whistled against the Warriors as we'll get yet another face-off. It's been a little bit more stop and start in this game than we saw earlier today between Manitoba and Pennsylvania. That one, especially the first period, I think we went the first 6 minutes without a whistle. This one, it's been a little bit more stop and start as these two teams really feeling each other out as Forster into the zone, tied up there. And we got a penalty coming up here against Minnesota, as I believe it is a body contact penalty. It happened right in front of us here in the broadcast booth. As it will be Piper Nyberg heading off. 6:41 to go, and that will send Alberta to their first power play of the game. Opportunity to respond to the Minnesota power play goal. Alberta went 0 for 2 this morning on the penalty kill. Meanwhile, the Minnesota squad went 1 for 1 on the penalty kill. As off the face-off, Alberta able to hold it in the zone. McCulloch's got it down low. She's tied up by Bundy, and it is Bundy who wins the battle, but McCulloch came back in, stole it right back. Good work down low by both skaters. Pass in front, taken away by the stick of Hardwick, and now she will find some open ice and send it the distance. As that one stopped by Tomlinson, she'll leave it down low for Isla Ford. Donahue right onto the rush here. Is no time to breathe if you're Alberta. Ford looking to start the rush into the zone. As Alberta with it. And now it's the Warriors with it again. Firing it ahead, McCulloch's got it. Into the zone comes Charlie McCulloch. Looking for an option. Feeds it in front, finds Declan Bowers. Bowers tried to find Lacina. And now Lacina's got it. Trying to make the play here. Good stick from Christian onside. Here's the shot. That one will dribble just wide of the net. And now Bowers down low. 45 seconds to go in the power play for Alberta. Yet to get a shot on this advantage, as that one will be sent the length of the ice by Minnesota. Tomlinson will leave it there for Leah Can to pick up. A little over 5 to go here in the second. Can looking to put her team back on top. Had the puck roll past her, got it back. A shot stopped by Eaton. As a little bit of luck there for Alberta. Losing it was Can. It found its way back to her. Now Lacina checked by Christian, and it'll be fired down the ice by number 2 in the white and purple. Good stick there as it's out to center. Preston turned that around. Bundy will send it in, and that will do it for the power play. As both teams with one power play in the game, Minnesota capitalizing on theirs, Alberta not so much, as we stay tied at 1 goal apiece. Second tight game both these teams have played. In fact, we're on pace for the same scoreline that these two teams played to earlier today. Alberta winning 2-1 over Connecticut, and Minnesota falling 2-1 to BC. Stachniak, the only goal scorer for Alberta, waved out of the face-off dot as Minnesota controls off the draw, and that one's going to go the distance, and we'll do it again. That's an icing call. Unforced mistake there for Minnesota. We'll see if Alberta can capitalize here in the middle frame. Off the face-off, high off the glass. Down the ice, it's a rolling puck, and it's another Minnesota icing call. That one almost left the playing surface. Very nearly found the broadcast booth. So another face-off to the right of Eaton. And this one won forward by McCulloch. Knocked away from the goaltender there by, I believe that was McDonough who defended that one, as McCulloch won it forward instead of trying to win it back. A change in strategy for number 12, and it paid off there. We'll see if she goes back to it or if it was a one-time thing there. Out to center goes the puck. Dumont will send it right back in. McCulloch goes after it against Bundy. In fact, it was more than likely 96 with the defensive stick in front. As now puck taken over. Played ahead. That one missed Stevens. And they're going to wave icing off this time. So Alberta will try to start again. Chipped the line. That puck stayed in. Good work there from Minnesota to hold the zone. Now it is out to center ice. Zins with possession will chip that one down low. And now Dumont's got it. Taylor Dumont got it ahead. That pass was intercepted, however. And now a bouncing puck settled down. And Jim will backhand it ahead for Declan Bowers. Bowers trying to drive right in, knocked away from her. And now Piercy had her pocket picked. Out to center go Minnesota. McDonough checks the clock. Plenty of time left here in this middle frame. A little under 3 minutes to go to be precise. And now Alberta start out to center. A pass for Soloway into her skates. Couldn't turn that one around in time. And now McDonough gets it ahead and will go after it into the corner. Taken over, Prosser. Prosser to McDonough, tried to feed it in front. That was taken away by Soloway, and now here comes Emma Pickard. One goal in the game, in the tournament so far. It came in the dying seconds of the third period against Connecticut, and what ended up being the winner. Nearly too many skaters for Alberta. Might have gotten away with one there as the puck flipped out to center by Minnesota. Didn't hear much clamoring from either the Minnesota bench or fan base, but now a chance. It's a 4-on-1 right in. Forster lost an edge as the puck found her, and now away come Minnesota. Touched into the path of Nolander. Couldn't get there, though. Good backtracking there from Rael Lacina. And now here comes Can. 4-on-2 Alberta. Is the game opening up a bit here? Leah Can will go around the net. Tied up along the wall. And that'll be flipped out to center past Ehrman. And now a foot race here, and Preston's going to win it. It's a breakaway for Addison Preston to the backhand. Oh, it rolled off her stick. She had half the net, but could not get it to go. Now a pass in front. Oh, what a save by Tomlinson as she absolutely robbed Addison Preston on the doorstep. And now a penalty coming up here against Minnesota as Sydney Christian upended Kruger. Smile on her face as her team heads to the power play. But my goodness. Taya Tomlinson, welcome to top 5 plays of the day. That one will make it for sure. Absolutely stealing one from Addison Preston. For the best of her 15 saves coming moments ago. And now Alberta will look to take that momentum and turn it into a power play goal as they go to work with their second advantage of the game. Off the draw, though, hard off the glass. And that one didn't leave. Caught a stanchion, in fact. Now Piercy trying to get to it. Couldn't quite catch up to it before it ended up down low, but she's got it now. Slams on the brakes, Zinn's got to be careful. That stick up in the midsection. You don't want to put your team down 5-on-3. Fanning on the shot attempt there was Kruger. Soloway will feed it down low for Piercy. So we're inside the final minute of play here in period number 2, a 1-1 game. It's been a good one so far. These two teams have only played close games, in fact. As Minnesota will send that the length of the ice. The penalty kill got to come up big here for Minnesota as the special teams, the story for the girls in white and purple thus far. But now Ehrman, look at the space. Here comes Ehrman right in. Couldn't get the shot away. Hardwick ended up defending her very well and now pulls the puck out of the pile and will send that one out to center. Oh, that could have been too many. No, they're not going to whistle it as it didn't end up impacting possession. In fact, it's going to turn into a chance for Preston, but she was trying to go around the ref and ended up catching the official. Preston into the zone, time ticking away. The pass just behind Bundy. She's going to try and get it in front. McDonough's got to get a shot away. Time runs out on the period. And a power play goal by Zoe Neuer, tying the game for Team Minnesota as we head into the third period, all square at 1. We'll return in about a minute for third period action. You're watching the 2025 War for the Roses on hnlive.ca. Stay with us. All even at one through 30 minutes of action here at the 2024 War for the Roses, as Team Alberta, the Warriors, and Team Minnesota playing their second game of the day respectively, as Alberta looking to make it 2 for 2 and start strong in the round robin, put themselves in a good spot for one of those potential top 4 spots, which would be an automatic bye to the quarterfinals. Meanwhile, Minnesota looking to avoid falling to 0-2. As we are back underway, Zach Marks alongside you here on HN Live. Appreciate you tuning in. An early glove save there for Eaton. We'll take a few seconds off the power play as Alberta with an opportunity to answer the Minnesota power play goal from the second period with one of their own here in the third. Face off to the left of Minnesota. Minnesota's net, I should say, was won by Alberta. They haven't won a lot of face-offs. We'll see if they can capitalize on this one, but Soloway loses an edge. Good work from Sola Jim to hold it in momentarily, and now it's fired down the ice by Donahue, who got knocked down by Jim. Play carrying on. There's not a lot of love lost between these two sides in this one thus far. We've seen a lot of physical play. As down the wing goes Isla Ford. Slams on the brakes, feeds Soloway. Soloway to the line. Fed across. Jim a shot. Stop. Rebound is loose. And somehow it stayed out. And on top of it now is Eaton. As nervous moments in front of the net. But it does not cross the goal line. Minnesota remains tied here in this one. Face-off one back by Alberta. Lacina, quick shot tipped wide of the net by Forster, who won that draw back. Now back to the line. Couldn't handle it. And now Volker's trying to dance her way past Lacina, unable to do so. As Evelyn Volker's had a chance earlier in this game on a breakaway back in the first. Could not beat Tomlinson. As this game has been a bit of a goaltending showdown. As that one played to the line, Hardwick skates in, shoots! Oh, that one went off a body and over top of the net. A little lower, and I think that's Volker's goal. As that one on goal is blocked, and away come the Warriors. Dumont gets it over to Can, who has had no issue joining the rush here. Can with a shot, and that one will catch the crest on the jersey of Kayla Eaton, and will lead to a face-off inside the Minnesota zone. Both goaltenders have been strong respectively. A couple of great saves on either side in what has been a 1-1 contest so far. Now the other way. Played ahead. Oh, good recovery from Lacina, and that will force an offside against Minnesota. The face-off won and controlled by Minnesota. Lacina is going to get her stick caught up in the midsection of the Minnesota skater, and that is going to be a hooking penalty as Riel Lacina will head to the penalty box with 13:08 to go. And now Minnesota to a power play. Their second of the game. They scored on the first. They're 1 for 4 in the tournament, running at 25%. Big moment here in the early stages of the third, but off the draw, Bowers steals the pass and is able to work it out to center. Bowers gets to it and flips that one towards the net. It was taken over by the goal scorer, Zoe Neuer, who directed it ahead, and now here comes McDonough across. Prosser shoots and scores! It's another power play goal for Team Minnesota. This one off the stick of Palmer Prosser. And for the first time in the game, Minnesota has a lead. It's 2-1. Nice pass across by Maeve McDonough. And no mistake from Prosser, snapping it under the glove of Tomlinson to give her team a 2-1 lead. This is their first lead of the tournament as well. They fell behind 2-0 to BC in their earlier game, as Ford's got to be careful. Both Minnesota goals have come on the power play. You do not want to give this Minnesota power play any more momentum. We'll see how Alberta responds. Up the boards, here's Pickard. Emma Pickard driving down the right wing side. Poked away by Neuer, pass in front. Oh, it's just behind the stick. Now a shot is blocked as it was Jordan Dumont trying to find it. Now it's chopped on goal, and ooh, some extra curriculars now. 12:08 to go. 2 minutes and 12 seconds into the period. Minnesota strikes on the power play. We'll get you the assists on the goal as soon as I can. As Stevens starts back, looking to add on for Minnesota. Good backtrack from Can, though, as she gets the stick lift and the puck taken by Alberta. Hardwick couldn't keep it in. Here's Soloway, 2-on-1. She's got Piercy with her. Soloway in, shoots off the shin pad of Christian. Alberta controls, however, put towards the net. Eaton will cover that one up. Not taking any chances as she will take the face-off. So Addison Preston and Brinley Bundy picked up the assists on the first power play goal. And on the most recent one, Addison Preston has made it a 2-point evening for herself. Maeve McDonough did, in fact, get the other assist on a great pass to Prosser, who makes it 2-1 Minnesota. Bowers with possession. Pushed ahead. Preston with a steal. The pass is behind Stevens and onto the stick of Kruger, who works back in. Nice move to the outside by Kruger. Backhand. Turned aside by Eaton. Good work from Soloway to steal the puck back for Alberta. Trying to work it to the middle. Knocked away, and now Stevens couldn't quite pick that up cleanly. And it'll be fired back in by Soloway, who's at the end of a shift. She's going to head off. 4 minutes gone here in the third. Now played ahead. Nice pass by Zoe Neuer, McCulloch's got possession for Alberta, though. In her own corner. Tied up by one of the goal scorers for Minnesota here. Now Neur's got it. Played back towards the net. Prosser had her stick lifted. Couldn't get anything on that to change the direction. Good recovery from Araman. Battle ensues right on the near side wall. And finally, we're going to get a whistle, as the officials deem that it was tied up a little too long for their liking. Whistle signifies a face-off inside of the Alberta zone. Jim's got possession off of the face-off, as Alberta's starting to win more face-offs here in the third period as they look to tie this game up. Here's Forster. Forster's got it. She's tied up and taken by Christian is the puck. She's got it down low, backhands it ahead for McDonough. McDonough out there with Neuer and Prosser. The pass was in the skates of number 8 and will be flipped back ahead, and tripping over the puck was Christian. Prosser and Ford battle right in front of the broadcast vantage point. And now it's pulled free by Nyberg. Played ahead, that'll be taken over by Alberta. And Ford will chip it ahead for Dumont to chase after, but too far in front of 23, as that will be an icing call against Alberta. A little under 9.5 to go here in period number 3. As the faceoff will be to the right of the Warriors' net. Preston with two assists here today, leading her team in points in this matchup. That'll be chopped down low. In fact, leading the team in points alongside Zoe Neuer so far here in this tournament. Now it'll be flipped out to center by Alberta. They got a last-minute winner in their first game against Connecticut. They'd love to get a last-minute tying goal if they could. Of course, they'd much rather have one with a few minutes left, give them time to maybe find a win here in regulation. No overtime games yet here on day number 1. Of course, with the 3-2-1 point system, made very popular by the PWHL over the last couple of years, always a factor. 3 points for the regulation win, 2 for the overtime win, 1 for an overtime loss, and naturally no points if you fall in regulation. So right now, bad pass, great read by Volkers, but a good recovery from Kruger. That was Peyton Kruger, pardon me, but stealing in a backhand, they score! Play carried on. Adriana Stevens picks up her first of the tournament, and it's a 3-1 Minnesota lead. As they look to join the Warriors on 3 points in the standings. Big time goal there for 77. As Metallica blares at the Ice Palace, Minnesota's partying. They've got a 2-goal lead here late in the third. Could have been another penalty against Alberta. This one doesn't get called, though, as Jim doing enough in the ref's eyes to avoid the penalty. Warriors got to get something going, and they got to get something going fast. Stachniak's goal in the first period, the only shot they've managed to get past Eaton. It was the second they shot. 15 straight stops since then. So that one will go wide of the net. As Neuer picks up her second point of the game. Stashik, a long shot, and that one's going to go wide, but she wanted a line change, so accomplishes the desired effect. Ford steals off the exit pass, but good recovery from Nyberg and Zins as it's out to center. That one's going to roll its way to the near side as Prosser and Can battle for it. It's Dumont who comes away momentarily. Now it's pulled free. McDonough has an assist on what would stand as the winner if this scoreline holds. She got it over to Zins, who drops it back to McDonough. Nice move around one, feeds it on goal and scores! The floodgates are open for Minnesota. 3 goals here in the third period, and they lead it 4-1 on Maeve McDonough's first of the tournament. Just under 7 to go in this one as Minnesota opening up a wider margin here, a 4-1 lead. Forster looking to change that. Pass over top, and that one might have caught a fan as that had some heat behind it off the stick of Jordan Dumont. but it remains a 4-1 game. .6:40 to go in the third. Alberta needs to get something going, trailing by 3 here. Puck towards the net, knocked away, and out to center as Lacina couldn't quite hold it in. Now it's stolen away by Zins. Space, a shot, that one's right on. Tomlinson will smother it and hold on for the whistle. .6:25 to go here in the third. Face off to the left of Tomlinson as Minnesota with 4 unanswered goals here since the start of period number 2 to lead 4-1 over the host Alberta Warriors. But now a chance as Jim chipped it past, tried to center, and that one's at about head height after going off a stick. Bowers couldn't quite corral it. Now gets it back to the line for Taylor Dumont, but couldn't get it past the first wave of Donahue. She got it ahead and down into the zone. Stolen back, and that pass dangerous, and Christian touches up in an offside position for a whistle. 6 to go here in the third. Off the face-off, it's chipped into the zone by Minnesota. McDonough's going to go after it. A goal and an assist here in the third period. She's been good. As Nolander and Donahue go after it. Collision down low, play carrying on, and Alberta will break out. Here comes Bowers. She's looked like one of the more dangerous Warriors so far in this game. This time, though, she has the puck knocked away from her, and the other way, here comes Nolander. Elena Nolander driving wide, thought about a pass, now feeds it back, but Donahue couldn't get her stick on it as the pass was behind her. Now it's fed across. After it goes Christian. Sydney Christian across for Hardwick. Elle Hardwick into the zone, long shot, glove save, and Tomlinson will hold on to it despite a brief delay in the whistle. 5:09 to go in the third. Face off to the right of Tomlinson. One to Volkers, off the wall, a shot. Oh, that one whistles wide. Not sure Tomlinson saw it until it was hitting the end wall, as there was a cluster of bodies in front of the Alberta net. Battle continues on that far wall. Alberta coach yelling directions from the bench, but won't stop the puck from rolling its way on goal. Tomlinson will cover up, taking no chances with it, as her team trailing by a trio of goals that have all come here in the third period. Prosser, long shot from Stevens, who's got the third goal of this game for Minnesota. This time has it snagged by Tomlinson. And then most recently, Maeve McDonough with her first of the game. First of the tournament as well. And has Team Minnesota within 4, or just under 4 minutes, or rather just over 4 minutes, I should say, of their first win of the tournament, and putting themselves tied with Alberta on 3 points after a pair of games. As that one's backhanded into the Minnesota bench. They would also join their recent opponents, the BC Junior Lady Canucks, on 3 points as well. As this has been a very strong performance for Minnesota. Outshooting Alberta in 25-19 and outscoring them 4-1, including 2 on the power play, and they've killed off the only penalty they've seen called against them, or rather the 2 that they've seen called against them. My apologies. As Alberta steals in their own zone to the line, kept in by Hardwick. Long shot. Ooh, that one got past the glove of Tomlinson, but went wide. Now a pass in front, didn't connect. Hardwick finds it, puts it towards the net, tipped wide by Prosser. And now Zins and Lacina battle for it. It's chipped out and not out. Good work there from Christian to get a stick on that. Out of the corner came Zins, but it's chipped out to center by Dumont. As now Nolander back to pick it up. Minnesota running the show for the most part here. Prosser's pass didn't quite connect with Zins cleanly. She did get there ahead of the blue line, so no offside. And now Dumont with a chance to clear for Alberta. She'll do just that for peeling off for a line change. Taylor Dumont launches that one in. Donahue takes over, and that ref has had himself a tough day. He had a collision with Addison Preston in the late stages of the second. Here he loses an edge. I think he might have taken the puck to the thigh. Hopefully he's okay. Doesn't look too worse for wear. Maybe a little embarrassed. This play carries on. Alberta trying to get back to within a pair here with less than 3 to go in the third period. Not the way they drew up their 2-game day, either of these teams really. But you take one win, you can't be too upset about it. And that is exactly what Minnesota is trying to get to here with 2:38 left to go here in the third. Face-off will be to the left of Eaton. And that face-off one to the half wall. And that one ended up on top of the boards, which will get us a whistle. Off the draw, it's cleared down the ice by Minnesota, and that will be an icing call against the team in purple. Face-off once again to the left of Eaton. And it's one back to the blue line by Alberta as they battle for possession. That puck out to center, all the way down into the Alberta zone. Back to pick it up goes Ford. That one tied up and pulled free. McCulloch back the other way. McCulloch's got it. Looks for an option. Walks off the wall. A shot fought off by Eaton. Good work there from the Minnesota netminder. Makes another save and then found that one through a body and holds on for the whistle. 1:34 to go here in this one. Face off to the right of the goaltender here. And off the draw, Forster gets it back to the line. Quick shot, good save from Eaton. As it's directed to the corner. Around the net and all the way out to center. Good work there from Team Minnesota as they're able to clear down the ice. Hardwick shooting. That one hits the back of Arman. And now out to center goes possession. 2-on-1 here for Alberta as they look to get one back late here in this one. The pass too far in front of Pickard. As we are into the final minute of play. Dancing her way through there was the Minnesota player. I believe that was Ali Zins, and collision there between Dumont and Christian. Donahue able to take possession inside the zone. And now Pickard's got it. Tied up down low. Nolander trying to pull that puck free. Under 30 to go in this one. As ref telling him to move it, and now the whistle goes. Didn't look like it was moving from here, but of course he would have the better vantage point being right on top of the play. So with 16 seconds to go, we get a whistle. And then it will be one last face-off. It's one back by Minnesota. Donahue going to chop that into the corner. It's up on the top of the boards, just sort of rolling its way. Plucked off the boards, and ooh, collision there in the corner, in the far corner. Oh, and that is not going to be good for Lacina, as she's going to go off, and that may be, yeah, she's going to go right to the dressing room. As frustration there for 15 for the Alberta Warriors. Stick got tied up underneath the body of Emmy Donahue. And then as both were getting up, Lacina, I'm not sure if it was meant as a punch fully, but it caught Donahue flush in the face mask. So not sure what the call is going to be here. There's only 2.8 seconds left in this contest. Was it a penalty or was it a misconduct? What have they called here? There's nothing up on the boards yet. Oh, there it is. It's a 4-minute head contact penalty. So an opportunity for Minnesota on the power play, not one they really need or one they'll really be able to use for that matter. As the puck will go down. And that will just about do it for this one. As they drop the puck, Alberta will take control and will skate out the remaining time on the clock as Minnesota pick up their first win of the 2025 War for the Roses tournament, a 4-1 decision over the Alberta Warriors. Bouncing back from a 2-1 loss to the BC Junior Lady Canucks earlier today to improve to 3 points in the standings. Alberta, meanwhile, can't keep the momentum rolling from a 2-1 win over Connecticut as they fall to 1-1, joining their opponents on the ice here tonight. As now they will turn their attention to the state of hockey tomorrow. Meanwhile, Minnesota, maybe a little hockey watching for themselves as they get the Eastern Canada Rattlesnakes, who play the final game of the day later on tonight. 4-1 the final here in this one, as Minnesota scores 4 unanswered, 2 on the power play, and 3 here in the third period to skate away victorious over the Alberta Warriors. And now they wait to see if they will have Riel Lacina in the lineup tomorrow. I don't believe the camera would have picked it up. Maybe a bit, says cameraman Braden Kleist. Appreciate that, buddy. Not sure officially, but we'll see if 15 in black is in the lineup tomorrow morning against the state of hockey, as Alberta does have the early game tomorrow. They'll be through 3/4 of their round-robin schedule after 11 games have been played here at the tournament. I guess on the one hand, you have that. Now, you see across the ice, the Minnesota coaching staff having words with the officials. I'm not sure if that's trying to get an explanation. Actually, you know what? This is an Alberta coach and a Minnesota coach. My apologies. As some words being exchanged there. But we will see as the 3 stars being announced in-house. As Kayla Eaton picks up the 3rd star, a strong performance in between the pipes for her second of the day, as Minnesota carrying just the 1 goaltender here at this tournament. As the goal scorer for Team Alberta, Aylin Stachniak, your 2nd star for the Alberta Warriors. And Maeve McDonough, a goal and an assist in the 3rd period, giving her side the lead. And she is your 1st star of the game. 4-1 the final, Minnesota over Alberta. As that will conclude game number 8 on day 1. We'll be back in about 15 minutes time for more action from the 2025 War for the Roses on hnlive.ca. Thank you for joining us. For my cameraman, Brayden Kleist, my name is Zach Marks. So long for now from the Ice Palace.